Good afternoon. We are going to start lesson 1 of Thunder Rose. I hope you enjoyed the read aloud of Thunder Rose. On that last part of the book, there was 1 or 2 words that the video cut off on, but we'll catch that later on in some of the lessons. The author of Thunder Rose is Jardine Nolan. The illustrator was Kadir Nelson. We're going to talk a little bit about the genre of Thunder Rose. The genre was a tall tale. Well, I wonder, what is a tall tale? Well, a tall tale is a larger-than-life main character doing a particular job. It's kind of like a superhero. They can do things other people can't. They usually solve a problem in a very funny way, so tall tales are usually humorous. They're exaggerated. They have exaggerated details that make the stories greater than they really are. It's a stretching of the truth. Tall tales also have a central message or a lesson. Let's talk a little bit about exaggeration. What is exaggeration? Well, exaggeration means to make something better or worse than it really is. It's not completely true. It's like when you go fishing with someone, you catch this fish, but you go home and you tell your mom, "Wow, you should see the big fish I caught. It was almost the size of a shark." But it wasn't really true. It was just a little tiny baby fish. So exaggeration means to make it better or worse than it really is. Remember, it's not completely true. Our learning target for today is we will identify and explain some of the challenges the main character face. So we're going to focus in on this word challenge. Well, we'll get back to it. Some of the words you may come across are some words that you did come across when you heard the reading was disposition. The author described Rose as having a sweet disposition. Disposition is another word for a character trait, which is what a person is like on the inside. So disposition is just another word that means trait. She has sweet traits. Metal bending. You read that Rose was a metal bender. Remember, in tall tales, the characters have superhuman strength. So she was able to bend metal. There aren't many people who can really bend metal. They're usually machines who do it. So that author was showing you just how strong Thunder Rose was. She was able to bend metal. Now, you heard the word stampede in the story. A stampede is suddenly rushing or running dangerously. It's like the cattle are going on a rampage. They're stampeding. They're going crazy and they're running all over the place. Stampedes can be very, very dangerous. Now we're coming back to this word challenge. Sometimes a challenge is called conflict. So a conflict, challenge, sometimes you'll hear the word struggle. So a conflict or a challenge is a struggle or a problem. The problem usually can cause harm to the characters or to others. Feelings can get hurt, or people can actually get hurt when there's a problem. Conflicts can be a problem with the character themselves, with someone else, or even with nature. How do we identify a challenge? Well, first of all, we have to know the character. We have to ask ourselves, who is the main character? We have to know that character's motivation. Remember, we talked about motivation in Rumpelstiltskin. That's what that character wants. Motivations are very important because motivations help us decide what the problems are and why and how characters act and react in the story. So we also, when we know the motivation, we ask ourselves, what conflict is the character having with himself, nature, or another person, or with people? We're going to take a look at a piece of text from Thunder Rose. I'm going to read it for you, and we're going to try to figure out motivation. So much in love with this gift of their lives, her mind paw hovered over her in watchful splendor. Overcome with that love, they lifted their voices in song, an old song, and a melody so sweet and true, a lullaby passed down from the ages, echoing since the beginning of time. There's music ringing so sweetly in my ears, the newborn exclaimed. It's giving me a fortunate feeling rumbling deep in the pit of me. I'll register it here at the bull's-eye set in the center of my heart and see what I can do with it one day. So, I wonder why Thunder Rose is saying this. What does she want? Well, I know her mom and dad are very important to her, and they always sang to her when she was younger. So Thunder Rose is taking that song. She's holding it in a place very dear to her, in her heart. We're going to read to see if Thunder Rose has a change in feelings and actions as we go on in the story. And if she does, we're going to try to figure out why. So we have to remember this is very important in the beginning of the story when the author tells us that Thunder Rose has a song that she holds in her heart. Now we're going to read on and see if we have a change in Thunder Rose. Well, the 2-year-old became quite curious about the pile of scrap iron lying next to the barn. Rose took a good-sized piece, stretched it here, bent and twisted it there. She constructed a thunderbolt as black as pitch to punctuate her name. She called it Coal. Wherever she went, Coal was always by her side. Noticing how skilled Rose was with metal, her pa made sure there was an extra supply of it always around. Let's ask ourselves, we're going to stop right here after a few paragraphs, and we're going to pause, and we're going to ask ourselves, is there anything in here that we see that's causing a problem for Thunder Rose, or is this just normal for her? Well, I don't see any change in feeling. She's doing what she normally does. She's bending her metal. I don't see anything stopping her from doing something. So we're going to keep reading. By the time she turned 12, Rose had perfected her metal bending practices. She formed delicately shaped alphabet letters to help the young ones learn to read. For his birthday, Rose presented her pa with a branding iron, a circle with a big M-A-C or Magruder in the middle. Just in time, too, because a herd of quick-tempered longhorn steer was stampeding its way up from the Rio Grande. They were plowing a path straight toward her front door. Wow, is there something going on in here that could possibly be a problem for Rose? Well, I know that we talked about a stampede, and stampedes can be very dangerous. So that stampede must be a problem. So a challenge Rose is facing right now is a stampeding herd of cattle. I wonder how she's going to solve that problem. But for now, we just identified the possible problem. The problem is the stampede of cattle that's herding or stampeding their way towards Thunder Rose. And it says it right here in text. Let's go back and see. It says, because a herd of quick-tempered longhorn steer, that's cattle, was stampeding its way up from the Rio Grande. They were plowing a path straight toward her front door. So they're fixing to come crashing through her house. Okay, now you saw what we did. We were looking for a change in the story to identify that problem. That's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to read some text from the story Thunder Rose in your Google form, and you will identify motivations and challenges in that text. Remember, as you read that text, look for a change in the character. Look for a change in the story where something could possibly be harming someone or something else, even the character themselves. All right, I'll see how you do in your Google form, and you'll see me in lesson 2 video of Thunder Rose. See you later.